Hey everyone, I'm Sarah, the Redneck Bifocal Stitcher. Welcome to my Floss Tube, a channel all about cross stitch. It's the beginning of January, it's the beginning of 2025, and I am back. I took several months off for a number of reasons, and at the end of December, I thought, maybe I'll give it another go, do a little reboot, a restart. And then last week, when I was at work, I got a notification on my phone that Pam and Steph had mentioned me in their floss tube, and I thought, this is not, no, this isn't real. So I ran into the back offices, sat down, and watched it. Still couldn't believe what I had just seen, and thought, okay, that is my confirmation. I had some friends say yes, and then for Pam and Steph to recommend me on the silver and gold segment of their floss tube just sealed the deal. So Pam, Steph, thank you for, like I said, putting my feet to the fire and encouraging me to come back. So here I am. I did go to Stitch West with Primrose, like Pam had mentioned. I was also at last year's Stitch West with Kathy Haberman of Hands On Design, and then I also was at the Stitch West in 2023 with Satsuma Street. And I had actually introduced myself to you, Pam. I brought one of the stockings that I had been working on over to your table. You had been talking about seeing the stockings at Shepherd's Bush, or had mentioned them at some point, and I thought, well, I'll just kind of show her what I've been working on. And yeah, you can see them at Shepherd's Bush, but I thought maybe if there was a more tactile, you could see it kind of more close up. I don't know, but I just came over, introduced myself, and wanted to do that. So we have met, but with as many people as you meet every year, I would not expect you to remember me, not even in the slightest. So I'm so happy to have everyone here. Everyone is welcome. And let's get to this. Because I've taken 5 months off, I have a lot to show. Well, I feel like I have a lot to show. I probably could have a little bit more, but there's only so many hours in the day. And when you're a mom and a full-time nurse and have other things going on in your life, sometimes the stitching isn't as much as we want it to be, but here we are. One of my big takeaways from having this Floss Tube channel is the sense of accountability for continuing to work on pieces and produce, not racing through things, but showing in a timely manner the things can be finished, and to show my progress instead of, well, I put 100 stitches into this a week ago, and here I am filming another floss tube, and there's only this much progress versus a little bit more. So I'm here for the accountability, and to hopefully show you some things that you haven't seen or might want to stitch. And let's get to it. The very last finish that I had of 2024 is one of my favorites. Last year I stitched 2 pieces by Annie, the Proper Stitcher, and both of them had such significant meaning to me. The first one was my Strength and Dignity that I stitched as soon as I got my cancer diagnosis. And then she released this design, room at the table. There's room at the table for everyone, and I saw this and I knew that I wanted to stitch it. So let me find a back, something to hold up behind it. But yeah, there is room at the table for everyone. I stitched this on a fabric that I had that was what I thought pretty similar to what she had stitched her model on. And I had some loose creamish white floss just kind of floating around, and I thought that would be just a perfect combination for it. So this fabric is from one of the Black Needle Society boxes. They did a murder mystery. This piece is called Evidence, and it's a mystery floss, but I'm just absolutely thrilled with how it turns out. And this is such a good sentiment for how we need to be in life, not only now, but in the future. There is room for everyone. There is room for everyone. So there it is. Next up, I have a piece from Hello from Liz Matthews. This is Auld Lang Syne. I saw this, it'll be out of the picture. There's just a little spot on it, but it won't be in the FFO. I saw this at Craft Center of Fine Stitchery when she was closing up, and I just absolutely love this design. Hello from Liz Matthews. This is a color in cotton, but I can't recall the name of it. It's a 32 count, and it came in one of the Black Needle Society boxes. And I thought it's just a beautiful color, and I used, I want to say I did like a mascara or onyx, some sort of black overdyed. There isn't really a whole lot of variegation in it at all. So it just looks black, it's black. But I thought this is a beautiful piece, something to have around the new year. And so there's another finish. I also did 2 Cherry Hill Stitchery pieces. She's a newer to me designer. I actually have purchased several of her PDFs, but me being a paper stitcher, if I buy it and it's a PDF and I don't print it out immediately, I totally forget that I have it. But here is one of the PDFs that I actually printed out to make right away. I'm trying to figure out a good way to not backlight this so much. But this is an autumn wish. May our lives be full of thanks and giving. I stitched this on a 32 lamb's wool linen. I absolutely love how this turned out. I love that difference between the darker green and the lighter green. This light green is pepperoncini, and the other one I think is like juniper, but I love how contrasting they are. And this is just such a good sentiment, along with the room at the table. I think, gosh, these little reminders I think would be good to have up around my house, especially for this season in my life. So anyway, this piece spoke to me, and I'm just happy with how it turned out. An Autumn Wish by Cherry Hill Stitchery. And then the other one that I just finished of hers was Prone to Malarkey and Shenanigans, or no, just Malarkey and Shenanigans. I did this on that, gosh, I can't remember, Arctic, it's the Arctic White, that's the white version of Vintage Country Mocha from, oh my gosh, my mind, Wish Out. But this is Notice, Prone to Malarkey and Shenanigans. I thought this was an adorable piece. Saw it as a PDF, bought it, printed it out so that it was on my radar. I started this in March of last year and finished it, I think, in August. I did substitute the 780 with the gold. You can see a little bit of that sparkle shimmer on there, but I thought was so cute. I love St. Patrick's Day. I do have Irish roots, so I like it a little more than a lot of people. But anyway, and then one of the last finishes that I have to show is this Joy to the World from Lizzie Kate. I bought this off of Stash Unloading as a kit. I had seen it at Shepherd's Bush. I think, did she make it into a pillow? She's got it over in her little Christmas nook. I can't remember if this is framed or if it's in a pillow, but I mean, it's a perfect pillow size. But I used all of the called for colors that just came with the kit. And then oh, there's a piece of floss on it. I'm sorry. Let me show it to you. Now it looks perfect, right? I replaced the gold here with this crown. I replaced it with a Krynic, but I'm just happy with how this one turned out as well. So I do have one other finish that is at my framer right now. It is Frosty Tiny Town. I am still absolutely loving stitching all of those up. I'm trying to slow down in starting them, just so that I can continue to enjoy stitching them. Plus, with as quickly as they go, they're a nice little palette cleanser between all of the other big pieces that I have. So that one's at the framer, and I will gladly share that when I get them back. As far as FFOs, I've got a few. The first one was Taurus from Nora Corbett. I had finished that one quite a while ago. I stitched it for my older daughter, and I thought, well, I don't have one of my Blackbird Beetles pieces done for her this year, so I'll get that framed. And she has it. I gave it to her for Christmas. I just framed it with a really nice bronzy frame, really subtle, really nice. She loves it. And then the last time I filmed, I had just taken this one to the framer. This is All Things Grow with Love from Primrose Cottage. I did this with my anniversary year, and then it's our initials, of course. This is just on a, maybe like a lamb's wool. It's not anything super fancy, I want to say, but I saw it at the Primrose Stitch West and decided I wanted to do that as well. So that's hanging down with all of my family pictures. And a little story, when Rod and I got married, we went to Vegas, and I thought this was just such a great sentiment, because when we got married, the officiant was talking about developing love like a tree and letting the branches grow, but having deep roots as well, so that the tree can flourish. And I think after 27 years, I think we're doing okay. Maybe a couple more years and it might be absolute. I'm joking. But anyway, yeah. 27 years later, I think we're doing okay. So there's All Things Grow with Love. I love it. I also, let's see. I also got two of my finished Tiny Towns framed. The first one is Halloween Tiny Town. I loved this frame and how it has the purple. Let me see so it doesn't focus on my face. It has this purple with the brown outer layer. I love just how that complements this whole piece. It brings out just enough purple for everything else. This is the Shepherd's Bush conversion, and I love that they added this little element of green and then more purple in it. So yeah, I love that one. It sits right up here. And then I also got my Valentine Tiny Town framed. This is the one that I worked on at Disneyland. I was standing in line, and it just made the whole day go by more quickly, as far as, like, you know, standing in line and whatnot. So again, I love these heart and hand designs. They're so good. And I will say again, if you design one for every day of the year, I will stitch one for every day of the year. Fabulous. Fabulous. And then I also, this was one that I was hoping would be finished by the time my mom got back from Amsterdam, so that it could be hanging on her wall. But my framer wasn't quite ready, which isn't a big deal. But this is Pretty Little Amsterdam. I opted to go with that teal border with the lighter color from the water. I felt like if I had used more yellows and oranges, that it would just wash it out. And I think this brings out those other blue tones in this whole design. When I have gotten these framed, I have opted to get them all at the same size. That way, should I decide to do like a gallery wall full of all the pretty little cities that I've stitched over the years, I can have it looking really nice and organized. So yeah, there it is. I love this Pretty Little Amsterdam. And my mom was absolutely thrilled. She had no idea that I was doing it and loves it. It's right by her Pretty Little San Francisco that I made for her. So there's that. And then a lot of you remember me talking about starting my Jack Frost tree farm on the wrong orientation. And I had this feeling that I would have just enough at the bottom to be able to frame it. And my framer said, yep, we can make it work. So here is Jack Frost's tree farm. And I'm sorry for the reflections. Hopefully you can get a good idea. I mean, most of us know what it looks like, but this frame, I wanted it to look kind of like pine wood with, you know, that distressed look to it. And then I opted to do a green just to kind of keep the whole tree thing going. But it works, and you can't even tell that there's just barely enough room to finish that frame on the bottom. So I'm super happy with how this turned out. Jack Frost's Tree Farm. This one was a Little House Needleworks. Really fun to stitch. Really fun to stitch. So that's it for my finishes and my FFOs. I've got quite a few things in the works for finishing as smalls. This year, I want to try and do more pillows and more unconventional ways of FFOing items. I have never really felt comfortable enough with my own sewing skills to do my own finishing. But after doing a few things for smalls exchanges last year, I feel like I'm capable of doing it. So hopefully this year I have more, I don't know, pillowy small FFOs to show you that aren't framed. So on to the whips. Here we go. My oldest whip is Crystal Christmas. It is sitting right up here in this little cubby. I'm not pulling it out because I haven't really done a whole lot of progress. And I was watching one of my earlier floss tubes and I thought, oh my gosh, I said I was going to finish it this month. And here we are, and it's not that same month and it's still not done. This is one of those, it'll get done when it gets done. I'm not going to put any deadline on myself, but it's up there. Everyone knows it's been my thing. So yeah, I will get it done eventually. But here's what I have to show you. First up, I've got Dream Within a Dream. This one is the Artsy Housewife Tier 4 release that she did back in like June, I want to say, on her Patreon. And I am still so in love with this piece. This is so fabulous. I believe I'm stitching this on a 30 count piece of fabric. It is a mystery to me. I had originally bought it to stitch a different design on, but when I saw this release, I thought, okay, change of plans. We're moving to a different piece of fabric for that other design. And so here we are. I love this piece so much. I don't know what else to say. It's just, it's so good. It's so beautiful. 2 over 2, all the things. If I can find out what this is, I'll let you know. It's a great, great piece of fabric. Then next up, I've got Memento Mori from Satsuma Street. I got some progress during the autumn months. I had lofty ambition. Let me tell you, first and foremost, I always have lofty ambitions. I think that I stitch faster than I do, and I think things are smaller than they really are. I will look at a piece, and I'll talk about it here in a minute. I will look at a design and think, that's a cute little thing. And then I'll kit it up and I'll get my piece of fabric and I'm like, okay, it's not as little as I thought, but I'm still going to do it because I love it. This is one, this is one of the pieces that I worked on during the fall, and I worked on a lot of things. So I got a little bit of progress on a lot of things, but again, progress is progress. And I'm sorry I have this little hanging piece of floss, but that skull's almost done on the top. This is such a gorgeous piece. I'm so excited to finish this. I think this will be a finish this year. I really shouldn't commit, but I think this will be a finish this year. I love it. This is a 32 count piece of black fabric. I bought a whole yard off of 123 Stitch and have several things kitted up on black fabric. I think I have a lot of things on dark, which could be good, might not be good, but anyway, there's Memento Mori, Satsuma Street. It's just gorgeous. I love color. Next up, again, one of my favorites. This is Stitchy Witchy Bell Pull from Stitchy Prose. I kitted this up. No, I bought the kit. I'm sorry. I bought the kit at Stitch West from Abby Topknot, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm so close. But here it is. Gosh, I love this so much. This is a 40 count piece of Spicy Honey from, is it Spicy Honey? No, Spicy Mustard from Fiber on a Whim. And this, the whole piece is just so, so good. All that I have left is a little segment down here that comes to a point, and there will be 2 witch boots and then the year at the bottom, and then I'll be done. I'm so excited. This is going to be one of my unconventional FFOs, for me at least. I have the top and bottom pieces to make this into the bell pull, and I'm just excited to see how this turns out. Just gorgeous piece. Next up, I have Miss Bingley's Library. This is one that I've pulled out to work again on this month. Gosh, I really do need a piece of paper here, don't I? Sorry, let me see if I can find something that's a little more not so dark. Yeah, this will work. Okay. Miss Bingley's Library from Plum Street. Again, filling in this house. This would be a good piece for a retreat, or if you are able to stitch at work like I am. All of this has been done so that I can just fill in the white. You've got the quote down here at the bottom, and then she's standing on the roof, and there's a little urn with some flowers coming out of it. I love this design. This is a 40 count, 36 count piece of affogato from Fiber on a Whim. Really, really like Fiber on a Whim fabrics. They're so nice to stitch on. So Miss Bingley's Library from Plum Street. Excited to keep working on that. Next up, oh, hello. This is not my favorite whip, but it is. Here's my Live on Little. I've gotten more done. I'm almost done with the ocean here, and the house is done. Once I get the ocean done, I feel like the rest is gonna fall into place. I feel like this is the bulk of it, and the rest is just kind of the little extras. So Plum Street, Live on Little. This is 1/2 on a 36 count piece of Shrekie's Tan from Needle Bling Designs. I started this last year, I want to say. Was it last year? But yeah, this is one of these whips that I have enjoyed the process. I want to finish it quickly, but I'm just enjoying stitching it so much. And it's such a great design. I am going to be in Rochester at the Hobby House Needleworks retreat in April with Plum String. Oh my gosh, you guys, Plum Street and Heartstring. There we go. Is that like Brangelina? Plum String? Did I just kidding. But I'm excited to be there. I have this, again, lofty ambition that I'm going to have like 2 or 3 Plum Streets so close to being done that I can put a few hundred stitches in and go ring the bell and do it. But we'll see how that pans out. Next up, let's do Nightingale from Mirabilia. I have not picked this one up, so my progress is the exact same. It's on dark fabric. I did that to myself. I don't regret it one bit, but I think this is a silk weaver fabric, and it's just so good. I love the modeling. Now that I've folded it all up, there's modeling in the fabric that kind of looks like lamplight coming through, and so I thought this was just such a great piece of fabric to use for Nightingale. Maybe I'll work on her next month. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, there she is. Then I have Folk Flowers from Satsuma. Another one that I want to finish as a bell pull. I love this design so much. I found, oops, not that one. I found a little mistake that needed to be frogged. And now that spring months are kind of getting closer, my desire to stitch this gets a little stronger. So I'll pull this out for spring. But these colors are just so good. I love it. This is going to be a big one. This is on a 28 count piece of chalkboard linen. And I'm just using all the DMC colors. Why do you need to change Jody's designs? They're just so good as is. And then I have, Octopus Garden, and a lot of you know my issue with this one. This is the third time I've started this piece, and I'm still kind of in that holding pattern. I have a really hard time deviating from the called for flosses, and I don't know why, but I do. I just have such a hard time. So the flosses that were used in the model differ from the flosses and how they look now. They're similar colorways. Tin Bucket and Garden Gate look very close. Endive and I think Moss are the two colors that look very similar. It could be a different one. But here's what I've done on Octopus Garden. If I've done anything, it's not really noticeable. And I'm just kind of struggling with this one because I want it to look like the model picture, but it's the whole color thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'll figure it out. I went ahead and started Blackbird, and I think it's filed away. I just put in a couple stitches on it to satiate that startitis itch that I was having. Will I keep going on this? Yeah, I'm just fighting it right now. Do I want to switch up the colorway a little bit? But I'm going to keep with it because, again, I just have a hard time switching around colors. I did change the fabric though. I started stitching it on the called for fabric, changed my mind, and then I switched to Twilight Blue from Wishelt. So I'll get it done. Next up, oh, she's a pretty one. This is Princess Eliana from Mirabilia, and she's so pretty. I have worked on her since I last showed you. I've been working just on this front portion of her dress, and then my plan is to move across. Oh, let me hold it up. My plan is to move across here and then up into her torso. Kind of saving the best for last, maybe. I don't know. Just everything about this is so phenomenal. I love this. And as many of you know, I do like to pick fabrics that don't compete with the designs themselves. I've seen her stitched on some pretty colorful fabric with a lot of different colorways, and I don't want to pull away from the initial design. I mean, this is so good. It's so pretty. So there's Eliana. She's on Peaceful Purple, and it's a 32 count linen. Love her. I also have put in just a little bit of work in on Sleeping Bee from the Blue Flower. This is a 40 count piece of Picture This Plus Wren, and it's so pretty. It's delicate, so delicate, especially on this 40 count small stitches. But I'm loving it. I'll be pulling this back out once we get into the spring months. So pretty. So there's Sleeping Bee. I also have Welcome Foolish Mortals. This is a piece that I took to work this weekend, so I want to try and get this one finished before the end of the month, which I think is feasible. I think it's feasible. I have a couple spots that I need to fill in down here on the words. There's just a couple stitches left in that W, and then I missed one on that O. But oh, I love this. And this fabric came in one of the Black Needle Society Halloween boxes. This is Bestitch Me Nightmarish. And I thought this is just the right fabric for this design. It's so good. It works really well. And hopefully by the end of this month, I'll be able to show you how it looks in its entirety. It's great. Oh, purple's my favorite color, and this is just so good. So, so good. I also have Goody Grimwood that got a little bit of attention during the fall months. I started stitching the moon, and it's so good. I needed to add a little bit more color to this from the last time I had shown you. I was still just filling in things on this house and thought, let's do some color. So I started working on that moon, and look at that variegation. That is so great. I love this. This is on a 36 count legacy from Picture This Plus. And I started this in, gosh, just a little over a year ago. Love this one so much. This is one where I had seen it and I liked it, but then when I saw the model, it totally changed my mind. So needed to start that. Next up, I have, that doesn't match up, but this does. This is Tonight is Halloween from Kathy Barrick. This is the first Kathy Barrick piece that I started. And I started this back in October of 2023. And I really, really like this design. It's great. This is on a 36 count piece of Meadow Rue Vintage from Lakeside Linens. And I had seen this stitched, someone had stitched it, I think, in the Halloween stitching group on Facebook, and I loved it. So I thought, let's do this one. It's good. So a little more progress since you last saw it. I think I completed the entire quote and, completed the entire quote and did a little bit more work on this tree. So super happy with how this is turning out. And then this next piece, Celebrate Halloween, I had put in timeout. Not sure why, but I had put it in timeout, and then I thought, you know what? I looked at it again, looked at the design. All of the Madame Chantilly tier tray designs, they're all so good. This is the first one that I fell in love with because it's Halloween, of course. But I put it in timeout, and I think it was probably just because of the stitching. I really don't know. But I decided, let's pull it out, keep working on it, and I love it again. Is that weird? Sometimes we just need to put things in timeout, give it a break, revisit, and you get recharged, which is, I think, why whip parades are so good for floss tubers. It kind of reminds us, oh yeah, this is why I'm stitching this. I love this. So there's Celebrate Halloween, one of many tier tray designs that she has done, and I will be stitching more of those. Here's another piece that was in timeout, and it's silly because you all know that I'm a sucker for a big old house. I mean, I'm doing Live on Little. That's a big old house. I did American Sampler, big house. So when I saw Winter Rose Manor, I thought, this is just knock out, drag down, gorgeous. Love it. Started working on it, and maybe the house isn't big enough. But I thought, this needs to go in timeout. I pulled it out of timeout. I guess I had had enough time away, and I'm back at it. I'm excited to get the house done so that I can start moving into all of the border around it, which is just so beautiful. I love this piece. This is on Brenda's Brew, and Celebrate Halloween, that Madame Chantilly, that one is on Barb's Blend. So yes, even on my little sheet, it says timeout. But yeah, Winter Rose Manor, this one's by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. What else can I say? It's just so pretty. It's so delicate. This is such a great design. Oh, so good. Then I have the Beekeeper from Plum Street, and this is one that I look at and I just have a few stitches left. No, I don't. There's still quite a bit to go on this, but I am making progress. So here's the Beekeeper. I love this one so much. This is a Seraphim fabric, 40 count silver lining. I think it's just it's a great fabric to complement the design. I'm using all of the called for colors, and I'll get back to it. I did use this for travel stitching, but this one just doesn't quite work for me on planes. I think because it's just such a small stitch count that it's harder to do. So anyway, but progress. The Beekeeper, I love it. Then I have, oh man, okay, this is what I was talking about. I saw this design, someone had kitted it up, and they were selling the whole kit on Stash Unload on Facebook. And I thought, that's an adorable little pattern, so let's buy it. And then I get it, and I open up the fabric, and I realize, Okay, this isn't as small as I thought it would be. This is Liberty's Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. This is one of her biggest designs. And here we are. No, I think it goes this way. Am I showing the right side? No. Yeah. I saw the design. I thought, I love 4th of July. I love patriotic. Let's do this one. It's little. Just kidding. It's not little. But I had to scratch that start itch, startitis. So here's what I did for Liberty's Welcome. It's a big one, and I'll superimpose all of the pictures of these designs so you can see. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I looked at it, and maybe it's because her packaging is so small that you see and you're like, oh, that's a little one, because it's a little picture. And other tricks my mind plays on me. So Liberty's Welcome. This one is going to be a long haul piece, but it's so good. I can't wait to work on it some more. Then I have Sam's Socks, Shorts, and Such. This is one of the Raise the Roof clothesline series that they did. And I am slowly chipping away at all of these as well. I love this series. And here's, let me get a little bit more. Here's where I am on this. I worked my way down and started stitching that eagle down at the bottom of that clothesline. This one is so good. This is, gosh, my memory of what the fabric is waxes and wanes. If I can find where I mentioned it, I'll look it up and post it down below. This is what Shepherd's Bush stitched their model on, and this is their colorway that they chose to do. A lot of the Shepherd's Bush conversions are just so good. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Tina and Terry really know how to switch around color and make things work. So there's Raise the Roof, Sam's Socks, Shorts, and Such. And then the next one, is it next? Yes. This one is Hang 10. This is also one of the Raise the Roof clothesline designs. This one is Hang 10. And it's on the same fabric that I'm doing Nightingale on. But I love this one so much. It's kind of weird working on summer things when it's snowing outside. So this is more of a summer piece. I'll probably pull it out in March and start giving it a little more attention. But again, all of the Raise the Roof clothesline pieces are so, so good. So, yep, we'll keep chipping away at that one. And then another, here's one of my plum strings. This is Float Sting that I started last year. This was one of my new starts for the year, and I haven't gotten very far. This is just a vintage country mocha. It's 40 count, and I'm stitching both of them together so I don't have to flip the pillow around to see each side. But yeah, I'll be working on this a little bit more. This is one that I don't think I'll be able to finish this by the retreat, but I'm hoping to have at least half of it done by the retreat. I think that's feasible. But again, the tricks that my mind plays on myself, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Okay, I have a new start. This is one that I saw stitched on as the dark version. I don't remember where I was, but I saw it and I thought, this is just so beautiful. I want to get it stitched up. I love Christmas. I love holiday stitching. I really do. And so when I saw, is it This Joyous Morning? It's This Happy Morning. This Happy Morning by Plum Street. I knew I wanted to stitch it on as the dark colorway. And so this is just a piece of, gosh, 36 count charcoal from, I want to say it's Weeks Dye Works. And my plan is to just do all the color completion and then go in and fill in the rest. But this is so good. I love that dark colorway. And someone said, well, it's kind of weird to do this happy morning on a dark piece of fabric, but when you see it, it works. It's so good. So I started that last month. Oh, here's another one of my favorites. I put this away during the autumn months and a summer, but it's my Four Elements. Oh, so good. So I don't think I've worked on this very much, if at all, since I last showed you, but this is one that I'm hoping to finish this year. I can see it happening. Um, just this 32 count black linen. I think this is part of the big yard that I bought off of 123 Stitch. Then I've got American Welcome from Plum Street Samplers. Oh, so good. This was a retreat piece, and as soon as it was available, I knew I had to snatch it up. But here's where I stopped at the end of the summer. This is a 40 count piece of hog bristle from Fox and Rabbit, and I'm using the Color and Cotton flosses from it. Oh, so good. I love this piece so much. I just love how delicate things are. I love color and I love delicate. It's precious. I did a little bit of work on Kringles. This is Little House Needleworks. I know I had mentioned that, you know, maybe thinking about doing one of each room taking one room and working on it for a month, over the course of a month. That didn't pan out because I make plans and then I don't. But here's what I've done on Kringles. This is going to be a process stitch for me. I'm really enjoying this. So I'm stitching this on a 36 count piece of old stationery from Seraphim Fabrics. And I'm just using all of the called for colors. This is really good. I was originally going to start one of the Plum Street like Equality Sampler or what's the other one, Heritage Sampler, but I didn't like the way it looked on this fabric. I thought this was better suited somewhere else, so I think it'll work for Kringles. And then I've got some other fabric set aside for my Plum Street starts. Next up is Mellow Yellow. This is one I started in June. I wanted to scratch that itch, start something new. I really love Artsy Housewife. She is one of my favorite designers. Excuse me, this is on a 36 count piece of driftwood from Fabrics by Stephanie, and this is all I've gotten done. I don't think I've worked on this since I last showed you. If I did at all, I can't remember if this made an appearance before I took that break, but here it is. This is one that I should be able to finish pretty easily. It's a smaller design to me. Considering how many BAPs I have in this pile, I never thought about exactly how big these pieces are that I work on, but this is something that I would consider small, but it's a little bit bigger than that. But anyway, so this is Mellow Yellow from the Artsy Housewife. I just love everything. Oh, no, that's a different one. Sorry. My notes are, I don't know why, but I have kitted items in with my current whips. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, wait a second. I'm working on two different babushkas, or I have two different babushkas planned. One I've started, one I haven't. So anyway, sorry for that little pause. This is Halloween Delivery from Plum Street Samplers. Imagine that. Oh my gosh, a Plum Street, you don't say. This is Halloween Delivery, and this is the right side up. This is stitched on Boneyard from Bestitch Me Fabrics. This was one of her fabrics of the month. I am in her neutral fabric of the month club, and man, I yet to get anything from her that I do not absolutely love. This is Boneyard. I thought it would be the perfect fabric for this design. I think I've got one other planned on this. So I had just enough fabric to make it work, and this is going to be great. I'm using all of the called for flosses. Then I have Haunted by Kathy Barrick. This is the second one that I've started of hers, and I saw this one and just knew that I needed to have it. It was a quick little start that I did for fall before I got into all of my winter stitching. But here's what I've done. This is on a 36 count piece of Lunar from Bestitch Me. I love this fabric too. It's kind of a grayish blue, great modeling. and I think this is going to work really well. I started this in October, and we'll just see how this pans out over time. So there it is, Haunted by Kathy Barrick. I had another start in October, and I did Ghastly Greetings from Satsuma Street. I bought this when she was here at Stitch West. I had my eye on it and saw the model, just like 4 Elements. I saw the model and I thought, okay, this is a good one. So this will be one of my unconventional finishes that I do myself instead of having framed. Yeah, what else can I say? It's on a black piece of fabric with all of the called for colors. Absolutely love it. This is great. So next up, Away We Ride from Blackbird. Love this one. I had purchased this and was going to kind of hold off on starting it because I already have so many Halloween pieces going, but the FOMO of having it but not starting it was really getting to me. So I went ahead and did it, and out of character, I did a corner start instead of starting in the middle. Here's another one of these fabulous Bestitch Me fabrics. This one is Dusty Cottage, and I thought this is perfect for Away We Ride. So I started that, and I wanted to see how much I could save at the bottom to maybe do something else, a different pattern. So corner start, I'm loving it. I'm using all of the called for colors, and man, great fabric, great design, can't go wrong. And then of course, I mean, we got to circle right back around, right? Here we are. This is Jack's Bash from Plum Street Samplers. I started this in August with Jessica Allison, and I know there are quite a few other people working on this. Here's what I have so far. And this is on a Mystic Fabrics. I bought this at Camp Black Needle, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. I'm sorry, Misty, I can't remember what it's called. But the name reminds me of something in the Pacific Northwest, if that helps. Olympia? It's Olympia. There we go. How's that for memory recall? Anyway, here's Jack's Bash, Plum Street Samplers. This is just a 36 count fabric. I thought this was really good for this one. I'm excited to keep working on this. As I see other people's progress, it makes me want to keep working on this. So there we go. And then, oh my gosh, you don't say, I have another Plum Street sampler. This is Hello Fall, and I'm stitching this on a 32 count piece of doubloon from, I think it goes this way. No, it goes this way. No, this way. It goes a way. This is on 32 count piece of doubloon from Picture This Plus. And a friend, Megan Webb, was in Moline at Color and Cotton, and she said, hey, I'm here. Do you want anything? And I said, yes, see if they'll do a Plum Street conversion for me. So I had them do Hello Fall from Plum Street. I normally would do this on a 36 count, but I really like this fabric for this piece. So I'm doing 2/2 on 32. It's not going to quite line up with my other Hello Goodbye seasonal stitches, but I really don't mind. This is a great fabric, and I just love Color and Cotton flosses. It's great. So there's that one. And then, excuse me. I've had my eye on this next design for quite some time, and I just never bit the bullet and got it because I thought, I love it. It's one that I appreciate. Will I have it in my house? I don't know, not necessarily. But some health things happened during my hiatus, towards the beginning of my hiatus from FlossTube. And I got to thinking about the sentiment on this piece and realized okay, now is the time. I need to stitch this. It's very relevant and it fits and it works. And I want to have it as a reminder of this journey that I've gone on with cancer and everything. So this is La Di Da. It is All Our Troubles, and I'm stitching it on doubloon as well. So here's my progress on this, and I'm sorry, I've got loose flosses everywhere. I apologize so much. I do need to make some adjustments on this quote. There's some stitching that's off a little bit. I started working on that line below wood and take and realized that things were off and I needed to fix it. So I just put this in timeout for a minute and I'll get back to it. But the sentiment is if all our troubles were hung on the line, you would take yours and I would take mine. I just think that's so fitting. As bad as we think our problems are, there's someone who always seems to have it worse. And so, you know what? I will take mine. I will take my problems. So yeah, I love this design. It's so good. I love the sentiment. I love the fabric, colors, everything about it. Gosh, it's so pretty. So there's that one. And then next up, I've got Uber Snowman. I'm super excited for this one because this is my last of the Uber stitches. I've done all of the others in the series, and I thought for the longest time I wasn't going to be able to find this design. It was unavailable on a lot of different websites. I'm not sure why, but I was able to snag one. And so here is Uber Snowman, and boy, he's a big one. He's a big one. Yeah, what else can I say? That's a lot of white. That's a lot of white. But yeah, there he is, Uber Snowman. He'll be my last. And I'm excited to have kind of a whole set, a whole complete series stitched. And then I have, let's see. Everything's out of order. I don't know why. This is Leaves of Autumn by Primrose Cottage Designs. This is one that I picked up when I was at Stitch West. I just saw it stitched up and it's so beautiful. So here it is. And this one, I just bought the pattern. I didn't get anything else to go with it. And then when I actually started kitting it up, I realized, oh, this is kitted, or it's charted in color and cotton. And so what I did was I took the time to figure out what colors, what DMC colors would work for the color and cotton conversion. And then I thought, you know what, I want this to be an over dyed. So I took my DMC conversion and then flipped it over, and I'm doing a mixture of different dyers. So I'm just happy with how this one is turning out. This is a piece of fabric that I got from the freebie table. It is a picture of this plus because it has this little tab on it. But other than that, I don't know what it is. I think this is a 28 count just because it's such a big piece. But I thought this would be a good one for that. So Leaves of Autumn by Primrose. It's great. Next up, got to circle back around again. We're back at Plum Street. This is one that I started and I thought that I would be able to finish it by the end of October, but I didn't, and I didn't feel like I needed to. It would have been nice to have a start and finish it within a month, especially on a Plum Street. But this is Ghoul Tidings. Oh, I love it so much. And of course, this is the Shepherd's Bush conversion. And you'll notice, if you're familiar with this design, you'll notice the changes. The dress is different and the writing is different. And there are some variations in these colors up above, but this is on a 32 count piece of copper penny from Picture This Plus. Gosh, it's hard to get a really good, there's some slight variances. I mean, you get that copper color and then you get that rusty, oh, it's so good. This is such a good piece of fabric. So anyway, hopefully I'll have this finished by Halloween this year, and then I can have it on my gallery wall with everything else. And then to go along with my tiny town fixation, so to speak, here is Christmas Tiny Town. I had actually started this at Shepherd's Bush. As many of you know, they have pre-cuts available. So if you go in and you say, oh, I want to start this, what did you do? What did you use for this? And they'll say, oh, we've got pre-cuts right here, and you pick it up and you go. I think I grabbed the wrong pre-cut because I had a 36 count vintage country mocha, and I started stitching it, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of weird, but I'm going to keep going. Maybe it's the fabric, because sometimes you're stitching on a fabric and it might seem a little bit off. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I had started stitching on it, and I'm like, this is weird, and I kept going, and I got about halfway done with it, and I realized, oh my gosh, this tiny town is being stitched on tiny fabric. It was a 36 count vintage country mocha, and it was an even weave, and I think that's what was throwing me off, because normally I do linen. So I decided I'm just going to scrap it. I'm not even going to bother frogging it. It's gone. It's done. And I restarted it on a Fortnite fabric. This is Plush from Fortnite Fabrics, and I actually really like the buttery yellow of this. It'll look really good with all the gingerbready houses along the line. There's a Christmas tree right here, and this candy cane will be on the other side. Looking at it, by the time I realized the error of my ways, I was about from here to this end on the whole design. I was just like, okay, I've got to have continuity, at least with this series. So I restarted it, no regrets. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. And then I also picked up and started Harvest. Yes, this one is Harvest Tiny Town. This is on a 32 count piece of vintage country mocha. This is the right count fabric. So here's where I am. And oh, so much fun. I love these houses. I did realize that I didn't have any of the color that this house is charted in. It's I can't think of it off the top of my head. I want to say that it's Harvest Basket, but it's not. It's Hickory Sticks. There we go. Hickory Sticks is in so many different kits that I was like, I know I've got to have it somewhere. So I'm just holding out. That's why this house doesn't have any siding to it, essentially. But I'm just loving how this is looking. And I am calling this my Winifred tree for slightly obvious reasons. But tiny towns, I love them so, so much. And then I haven't worked on this one since I last showed you this whip, but it is Honey of a Tiny Town. I just think it's adorable. Again, this one is on Vintage Country Mocha. It's just such a great neutral for so many different things. So yeah, here we are, Honey of a Tiny Town. And right down here, this requires hickory sticks for that base. So I'll just have to pull it from somewhere else. So good. So, so good. Those are my only 3 tiny towns that I have going right now. I've got all of them, but I'm pacing myself. And then for another start that I did with my friend Jessica Allison of Down Allison Road, we started the Schitt's Creek sampler together. This one's from Boomerang Stitches on Etsy. Schitt's Creek is such a delightful show. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. But I absolutely adore it. And so we started the Schitt's Creek sampler together. It's full of different quotes from the show. And this one is from the episode where he talks about liking the wine and not the label. So this is on a 40 count piece of it's a neutral. I don't remember if there was anybody attached to this. It might have just been like a lamb's wool type fabric, but yeah, here it is. This is full coverage, and it is going to be pretty big even on this 40 count, but I'm super excited to just kind of plug away at this and maybe watch a couple episodes while I'm stitching on it. Just, it's fun. And then for Christmas, let's see what else is under here. I've got just a couple more. Christmas, I started a stitching challenge with some friends and had received as a very generous gift from my friend Sue, several of the Christmas Couriers series from Nora Corbett. And so I thought, I want to start these. They're all very, very small considering the larger scale of Mira's. Nora's stitch up faster, and they're still very quite blingy. So I started on Dasher, and here's where I am right now. I have some Krynic that I need to start putting up around the edges here, but I've also started the beading just because who doesn't love the way those look? They're so good. Anyway, so this one is Dasher. I did opt to use fuzzy stuff instead of Whisper for the tail. It gives a little bit of sparkle, and it fills it out a little bit better than Whisper. I just like the look of it altogether. So there is Dasher. And then to go along with that, I started Santa's Sleigh, and I think it goes this way. So here's Santa's Sleigh by Nora Corbett. I'm planning on doing all of the Christmas Couriers together and figuring out how to display those at Christmas time. They're so fun. I just love how quickly they stitch up, and they're great. They're beautiful, beautiful pieces. This fabric, I want to say, is Stormy Night from Wishield. It's their gray version of Vintage Country Mocha, and Arctic White, I think, is the other one. So yeah, all of my Christmas Couriers will be on this same fabric just so that I have some continuity with it, but love it. I love it so much. I did do a little bit on my Coming to America from Brenda Gervais. Yeah, I think I did more than I thought. This one is Coming to America from Brenda Gervais. This one is the Mayflower, the Women of the Mayflower. And I think I did a little bit more since I showed you last. But here's where I am. Of course, I'll be pulling this out intermittently throughout the year to work on it. Vintage Country Mocha, I believe it's 36 count. So there's that one. And back to a Plum Street. This one is Babushka's Bees. This one I started with Jessica Allison as well. And this one is on a piece of Macchiato from Bestitch Me. This was one of her fabrics of the month. And I thought, this is so, so good. And this is one that I'm hoping that I can get close to finishing by the time the retreat rolls around. It's not that big. To me, it's not that big. I mean, compared to Live on Little and Liberty's Welcome and Real Comfort, yeah, this is not big. So there's that. All the called for flosses. Yeah, Plum Street. I'm definitely in my Plum Street era. And then here is the Camp Black Needle Society design that she did for camp this year. We call it camp. The first year was themed camp, and it just kind of stuck. Last year was Camp Carnival. This year was Camp on Holiday. And I love this design so much. It's a good day to celebrate, and she's put in motifs from all holidays around the year. And I just have a little start on that. This is on Vintage from Bestitch Me, and this is going to be a fun stitch to work on. Little motifs all around, super, super fun. I also started in October the Candy Corn of Mischief. I bought this as a kit from Shepherd's Bush. I love Bent Creek, and so here's where I am on this one. Let's make it not so see-through here, maybe. But this one is just going to be a giant candy corn made of all these cute little motifs. There's pumpkins and ghosts down here, and then above will be something else, but I can't see the picture. But it's super cute. It'll just be a giant candy corn. And lastly, for my WIP pile, thank you for sticking around with me. I'm trying to keep this short. I got this at Stitch West with Jody, Satsuma, and I just want to keep working on all of these little Halloween ornaments that she did. So this is Cat-O-Lantern. It's one of her perforated paper designs, and here's where I am right now. I just think he's so great. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Yeah, I love it. So, so good. And then really quickly before I talk about other things, I do have, like with Burn Stitches, she is doing a year of Plum Street, and I have been kitting up Plum Streets without real true plans. So 2025, new year, we are going to be doing a year of starts with Plum Street samplers. And of course, I left it at the very bottom of my WIP pile. Go figure. But I have my little stack of kitted up Plum Streets ready to go. And I think I've gotten all of my fabrics picked out. I'm pretty sure I have all of the flosses, maybe a couple that still need a few things here and there. But 2025 is going to be my year of Plum Street, as if I don't have enough already. And if I don't have enough big houses, we're starting off hard and heavy with Real Comfort. As soon as she released this, I knew this is one that I needed to have. I don't care about the size of the house. Look at that entire gorgeous design. So good. This is a quote from Emma. There is nothing like staying home for real comfort. And man, does that ring true? I really am an extrovert, but I have really started appreciating the time that I'm able to be at home. Maybe because of the way last year panned out. But I thought, okay, let's get started on this house. So in true redneck bifocal stitcher fashion, we did a center start, and here we are. We're going to get going on that house. So a couple hundred stitches, and we're in it. We're in it to win it. I'm excited to keep going on this one. I'm not going to go into full detail on every other piece that I'm starting this year, but I will show you since they're right here. I do plan on starting Winter Moon. I've got almost all of that kitted up. I am starting a Ghoultide Welcome to Thee. So good. I will be starting Babushka's Blossoms. I love that one. I know Bern's been working on this one. So there's that one. I'm planning on starting Harvest Keeper and Salem Sampler. Oh, again, this was another gotta have it, gotta start it. So I'll probably save this one for later this year. But oh, so excited for that one. And then, is that it? Nope. Here's at least one more. Summer Moon. I've just about finished getting that one ready to go, but here's Summer Moon. I also have Spring Moon floating around here somewhere. I think it's probably because I haven't quite finished kitting it up. But that is pretty much my plan for 2025. Of course, I have other things that I've kitted up and had in my stash for a while that I'll continue to work towards starting. My ultimate goal this year is to try and really whittle down my WIP pile and get more things framed, finished, and just on display so that I can enjoy them instead of having them curled up in a project bag. And yeah, so anyway, Plum Streets, that's my big plan. What else was I going to say? I think I just derailed my train, but anyway, stick around. I am going to be discussing kind of things that came about after and during my break. So anyway, if, let's see, what can I tell you? As your OR nurse, Here's a good one. As your OR nurse, when you are eating dinner, make sure that you chew all of your food very, very thoroughly. We've had a lot of people come in with food stuck in their throat lately. So, that being said, have a great day stitching, and I'll talk to you later. I do have some health updates for you if you want to stick around. So, okay, I went to camp in Kansas City with Black Needle Society, and I came back and I had another scan. I can't remember what it is. I've really, really worked hard on putting this aspect of my journey that I've been on out of my mind, just because it was so catastrophic and so, there's a word that I thought of for it, but I've really worked so hard on putting this out of my mind. Catastrophic is kind of the best way to put it. Anyway, I went in for another scan. This was just to kind of check things out. And I had an appointment with my oncologist a week later after this scan, of course, to, talk about what was found and anything else that needs to be done. So I have my scan, and like an idiot, I looked at the radiologist's readings from the scan, and what I saw was metastatic from an unknown source, metastatic disease from an unknown source. And he cited it in my liver, and then I had a spot on one of my adrenal glands. I feel like I said this already, and if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But it was not good. It sent me spiraling down and down and down, because now I'm thinking, okay, I've got this cancer already, and now I've got another from somewhere else. And my oncologist was livid that the radiologist had said what he said on his report. And when I had gone in for that appointment, she was actually on the phone with him when she came into the room, kind of trying to figure out what he was getting at. And he said, well, maybe I went a little too extreme. And it's like, you think there, buddy boy? So because he said what he said, it doesn't matter. He said it. The toothpaste had been taken out of the tube. You cannot put it back. You can't put toothpaste back in the tube. So she had to order a secondary PET CT scan, a different type of PET CT scan, to rule out wherever else this metastatic cancer had come from. He called a second time during my appointment with her and said, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really sorry. I showed this scan to some of my colleagues, and they don't think that it's metastatic. They think that it's something else, benign, nothing to be worried about. And I'm just like, that's too little too late. And I still need to have this scan because he said it, and we want to rule every single thing out. So I wound up needing a second PET CT scan, had that. And this time I decided I am not looking at my results. And I have made that decision from here on out. I am not looking at my results, because with the knowledge that I have and being able to interpret what the radiologist is saying, can be not a very good thing to do. So stupid decision. I'm not doing it anymore. But that PET scan came back with no cancer anywhere else in my system, which I'm grateful for, because it's kind of like a bonus scan to see if I have anything anywhere else. How else can I approach it? It's just a bonus scan, one that I didn't want to have done in the first place, but here we are. So anyway, even though the radiologist had amended his initial reading, had spoken with his colleagues, and they all came back and said, this isn't anything to be concerned about, not even the spot on your adrenal gland. You're good, you're fine. I was still just an absolute wreck and in this downward spiral. So I remember going in and talking to my oncologist, and she put me on some medication, which was not, my body wasn't having any of that. So that didn't work out. But right now, I feel like I'm in a relatively safe space with my cancer. There is still a little bit of Leonard that they're keeping an eye on. They're not sure if it's really him or if it's something else. So I have another scan in a month. Oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? If all of our troubles were hung on a line. So I have another scan in February, and I'm hoping that whatever this issue isn't there. Do I feel like I might be having another surgery this year? Yeah. Do I want it? No. I mean, I'm not going to protest time off work. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. I'm in a holding pattern. Things were really, really bad. They're getting a little bit better. I can't wait to come on and say one of these days that things are really, really good. I'm out of the danger zone and that I can come on and say that I'm cancer free. One day, but not today. So anyway, that's where we are. We'll see what happens. It kind of sucks. I was joking with, all of my cancer friends. Yay, our out-of-pocket maxes are reset and we get to start all over again because, health care. But there we are. If you've hung around all of this time and if you're still here, thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for praying and sending good vibes and juju, well wishes, and everything out into the universe. They are not unappreciated and very much noticed. So with that being said, still chew your food as well as you can, because we don't want to see you in the OR with food stuck in your throat. And that's it. So here's to 2025. Here's to new beginnings, restarts, and more whips to start, more whips to finish, and a great year. Have a good day stitching, and I'll talk to you later.